Closer than you think. An increasing number of reported encounters with the creature known as Bigfoot are coming from Fresno and Madera counties.
Action News reporter Gene Higginson is here tonight, and he's been investigating all of these reports and what people might think about this animal or creature.
Whatever it is.
Living close.
All right. Well, you know, whether you want to believe it or not, there are a lot of folks around here who think they've had a brush with a Bigfoot or Sasquatch. Many won't talk about it for fear of being ridiculed, but others are brave enough, and they think Bigfoot is real, and they think science is about to prove they really do exist.
Lurking in these forests of the High Sierra are people like Bill Compton, a cell phone salesman. During the week, he spends many weekends in search of the elusive Bigfoot.
I truly believe that there is a bipedal primate roaming the terrain. I've seen too many footprints, seen beasts walk away from me on two legs that look like giant hairy animals.
Bill and his partners have zeroed in on an area in the Sequoia National Forest in southeastern Fresno County.
In that area, we've had a lot of activity. That's why we constantly go back to it.
Local hunters and hikers have reported Bigfoot encounters in the area and reported them on the Bigfoot Field Research Organization website. 17 encounters are listed in Fresno County alone. Websites like this are full of pictures, videos, and supposed eyewitness accounts. Such stories are no surprise to the Native American tribes living in the Sierra. To them, Bigfoot is just like the bear, mountain lions, wolves, and coyotes displayed at the Mono Indian Museum in North Fork.
We have an understanding that Bigfoot was here, is here, that he once existed, and we actually, the Monos actually have two names for him. One that's up in the mountains, we say Kusikusnau, and then one for the foothills is Kakauna.
Ron Good is a tribal member. He hasn't seen a Bigfoot, but thinks he smelled one.
It had kind of followed me along and really scared the heck out of me because I was running for a little bit and I could smell this thing, and it smelled terrible.
Another encounter near North Fork involved not smell but sound. Susan Larson, an accountant, believes she heard a Bigfoot outside her window one night.
The scream was so scary that you would no way in your right mind go out that door and go looking for it. And it's a shame that I didn't have the guts.
She didn't know it was a Bigfoot until she heard a recording on a Bigfoot website.
That's exactly what I heard.
She later took pictures of footprints she thinks could belong to a Bigfoot or maybe a bear. Casts of footprints along with pictures, videos, and other Bigfoot evidence is on display for all to see at the Bigfoot Discovery Museum near Santa Cruz.
We're trying to come up with definitive proof that there are Bigfoot out there.
Museum owner Michael Ruggs has wanted to prove Bigfoot lives ever since he saw one as a kid.
Stepped out on a sandbar, and there was a great big hairy man standing there looking at me. And I looked at him, and he looked down at me. And
one of the few scientists who will acknowledge the possibility Bigfoot exists is Jeff Meldrum, a biology professor at Idaho State University in Pocatello. His book, Sasquatch, Legend Meets Science, has been cited in some of the most recent documentaries on Bigfoot. He claims to have almost found a scientific basis for the legendary creature in Canada.
We collected tissue, the remains of blood, as well as muscle tissue and even some hairs.
The creature apparently stepped on a board with screws in it, leaving the blood and flesh behind.
In which DNA was successfully extracted from a tissue sample. In this very preliminary result, a polymorphism, a single substitution was found.
Meldrum says the DNA tests seemed to indicate the creature was related to humans or chimpanzees. While he admits much more DNA testing is needed, he thinks there's something out there.
Based on all the evidence that I have seen, suggests that this is an unrecognized species of great ape.
But that is not a conclusion shared by most of the scientific community.
The whole Bigfoot topic is what can best be classified as pseudoscience.
Dr. Stephen Lewis, a professor of earth sciences at Fresno State, thinks the Bigfoot legend is bunk.
There's really no credible evidence that's ever been turned up that a giant 600-pound hairy hominid creature, man-like except bigger, inhabits the Pacific Northwest or Fresno County or anywhere else. There's just no evidence for that.
Many Bigfoot believers say, what more could you want? The evidence is already overwhelming. But even those hot on Bigfoot's trail admit the absolute proof they really need may be very hard to find.
We go to investigate and can't find anything. It's very mysterious. It drives us nuts. I truly believe that, you know, in the Central Valley, we probably have some Bigfoot, and it'll come out someday.
The obvious question may be, why can't anyone seem to find a real Bigfoot, dead or alive? Well, the Native Americans believe they simply live and die hidden underground in tunnels and caves that run for hundreds of miles through the Sierra, and they only come out now and then. Others say they're just too smart to be discovered. It'll take actually finding one to convince most of us they exist, but as long as there's no way to prove they don't exist, a lot of people will keep looking for them and believing in Bigfoot.
That's for sure. You know, those folks seem very, very sincere, the ones who are talking about it.
Exactly, and nobody's disproved it.
That's correct,
So,
I guess.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting.
They'll go
Very
on.
interesting.
They'll go on believing it. Yeah.
And that sound, where else does that sound come from? Unless some human made that sound and just put it on the internet. But
you know, there are hoaxes out there, that's for sure.
Yeah, they say that's one of the big problems, that there's been so many documented hoaxes, it's kind of hard to take any of it seriously.
But there's Bigfoot stories from coast to coast.
That's right, and around the world.
Thank you, Gene, for bringing us your version.
All right.
Well, it's rodeo week.